Hello everyone, it's Aaron here from Push Square, and this is your episode 1 review of The Last of Us TV show. Now yes, I know it's a little bit late, but I was sick this week and I had been feeling really sorry for myself lying on the couch, sniffling away. But anyway, we're back in action, and the plan is to release weekly episode reviews every Monday, so that's just shortly after the show comes out. But just to let you know, these will be spoiler reviews, so if you haven't watched the premiere yet, throw this video into your watch later and then go check out the premiere. Anyway, on to the review. So I was very cautiously optimistic about the whole idea of a Last of Us TV show. Of course, the game and its sequel are my favourite games of all time. So yeah, I was a little apprehensive in a way, but then looking from the outside at some of the talent attached when you just look at HBO in general, you then have Craig Mazin and then of course Neil Druckmann himself. So there was a lot there that made me feel somewhat optimistic about it, but I obviously was going to go in with a very critical eye, and I was glad to find that very quickly I just I got on board. I was very into this. I have to say, the premiere episode, it is genuinely fantastic. Cut to the opening, we have a talk show in the 60s, and we have this guy played by John Hannah who's theorizing about the potential of a fungal outbreak. When I first heard it, I was like, okay, we're introducing the concept of the cordyceps to a new audience, but very quickly this just sort of clicked. You were on board, you were sitting at the edge of your seat. It was very chilling. I thought this done a really great job of just sort of showcasing that this is going to be a very dark take on the post-apocalypse. It didn't need a skull on the side of the road or something like that. It was just some dude talking 30-40 years before the main events of the game. I loved that for it. I was really taken in with it all. So then we're talking about our main prologue, the prologue from the game, at least somewhat of a version of it. And this is where I was really impressed with the show. I felt like it managed to sort of cater to both audiences, those being the game fans like myself and then people who have never touched The Last of Us. I thought they'd done such a great job of just telling a story naturally for a TV audience whilst sort of lacing through these references for the game fans. The way that it deviated in all the right areas but stayed faithful in the right areas too is what I loved about it, because we're seeing some of these moments like Joel and Sarah sitting on the couch. That was like very faithfully recreated. We even had some of the exact same lines from the game, but then prior to that, you've got Sarah going into town and fixing her dad's watch. Now we know that's what happened from a gamer's perspective, but it done a really good job of giving you that little bit extra time with Sarah for someone that we really don't know that much anyway. And not just that, it keeps you interested as someone that knows the story. I saw this as like an extended cut. It's the same thing with, say, Lord of the Rings. I love Lord of the Rings so much that any additional scene with the hobbits or anyone else, I lap it up, and it felt like that to me. But what I have to quickly shout out, I'm trying to make these relatively quick, the whole pandemonium of the eventual outbreak, I thought it was flawless. I thought it was really well done in terms of like keeping it within the car, you're keeping it grounded. I thought it was just, it had me sitting at the edge of my seat. I loved the way there was a little nod to the truck that flips them in the game, but it stops here and you're thinking, oh, okay, well what's happening there? And of course, HBO has the money, drops a fucking plane on them. I genuinely sat up and was like, holy shit. It thoroughly impressed me, and I was like so on board by that point. Then of course the whole very emotional scene, I didn't quite feel that it hit the mark quite the same. Going into the actual post-apocalyptic stuff, I did feel it was a lot more like, you're in the apocalypse, look at all of these road signs that are wrapped in vines and here's a destroyed cityscape. And it was impressive in a way. It was nice to see the production value was there. They certainly got the budget to pull this off. And I also liked how it sort of streamlined the story in terms of Joel, Tess and Robert. Like I say, it still keeps you interested. So just to quickly go on to Bella Ramsey as Ellie, I am not 100% sold, I will say. There was the hallmarks of the character were there. At this point, we've only seen hostile, sweary Ellie, and I think being on board with that character, I'm going to have to see the quieter moments, the more emotional moments, the moments when they're trying to be funny. We didn't really get a lot of it in this episode, maybe a little bit, but not enough for me to be fully sold. Pedro Pascal, on the other hand, I think manages to do so much without actually saying a lot. There's like a pain in his eyes with this hardened exterior that I thought fit so well. Tommy, I have to quickly mention, Gabriel Luna is such a great, like, fantastic choice, and I can't wait to see what they do with him in this season. Same goes for Anna Torv. Excellent. And of course, you know, Meryl Dandridge is killing it as Marlene because she is the OG Marlene. But of course, I'm just sort of listing things off here. But I thought this was a really solid opening episode. I did appreciate that it didn't feel the need to cram everything in. It did take its time. It wasn't like, okay, this is the first episode of a post-apocalyptic show. We have to get the outbreak, the destroyed areas, the, you know, people are bad too, but then showcase lots of clickers. Of course, we didn't really see any of that at all in this episode. I like that it didn't just, here's the check marks of a post-apocalyptic show. It's getting to it eventually. So overall, I love this episode. I can't wait to see how it plays out. Let me know what you thought down in the comments below. And remember, you can see the other videos. They'll be coming out every Monday. To ensure you don't miss out on those, subscribe to the channel right here on Push Square, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.